Yo, what up world? Welcome back to another beat making video. Today I want to do a Vanessa Hudgens type of beat, and you might be asking yourself, Vanessa Hudgens, isn't she more of an actress than a musician? And I guess I would say she's probably more known for being an actress, but she's definitely a very talented singer. She was in High School Musical, so there's that. But what I want to focus on today are her two solo albums she had in like the mid to late 2000s, just because I love that like 2000s pop sound that was really heavy on like strings and orchestral instruments, and you just don't hear that as much anymore. So I heard this Vanessa Hudgens track last night. Can't remember the name of it right now, but I was like, oh, I gotta recreate that because it's just such a nostalgic sound to me now. Like I said, you just don't hear it anymore. So we're gonna try our best to like recreate the sound. I wish I had the name of it. I will put it in the description below. But I'm gonna lower the tempo to 88, and we're gonna go into Nexus and go into the classical folder, and we're gonna grab soft orchestra, and we kind of want that like Scott Storch staccato sound. So we're gonna lower the release and the decay. We'll leave the sustain as is and make the attack a little quicker, and yeah, that should be good. So let's go into the piano roll. Actually, before that, let's just put a clap down just for reference, because it'll help us write out our chord progression. That sounds good. So I'm gonna put that on the 2 and the 4. Go in the piano roll, just highlight that first bar, Control B 3 times so we have it playing throughout all 4 bars, and now we're ready to go into the piano roll. So I'm going to start off with a simple F chord. I'm going to lower this a bit. So that's F, A, and C. Shorten that up. What I want to do is lower the first one and raise the second one, just so it sounds a little more like uplifting and exciting. Okay, cool. So the next chord I want to make is, I think I'm going to go with an A minor. So that's A, C, and E. Okay, cool. Let's drag that over. So what I want to do for the second bar is just take the C from the F chord and just bring it up to a D, and that's just gonna, I don't know, add a little flavor to it. So let's give it a listen. Cool, I can dig that. And let's just bring this first part over to the third bar, and then for the turnaround, I'm just gonna have like a sustained chord. I guess I'll go with like a G. Let's see how this sounds. Just lower it a bit. Okay, cool. So what I want to do now is add a much needed cymbal. We definitely want to have like a big crash hitting every time these chords hit. That's just going to bring so much more life to it. So I'm just going to grab a 909 snare, and we're just going to put it on every time the chord hits. This was super common back in the day. Let's throw it in the mixer, and let's put a reverb on it and in EQ. And right off the bat, let's get rid of all those muddy low, just that muddy lows the reverb will probably create. And let's make this pretty wet, make the room pretty big, give it some decay, and turn it way down. And let's go into the envelope, let's make the attack a little quicker, and give it a little more of a decay. Let's hear how that sounds. So what I hear that it's kind of blending into each other because the hits are so close together. So what I want to do is hit cut self. So every time the sample restarts, it will cut the previous one. So let's see if that made a difference. Yeah, it sounds a bit tighter. I think I could make this a bit shorter though. Okay, cool. So next thing I'm going to do is I want to layer up this sound at least with 2 or 3 other sounds because we want it to sound as big as possible. And I'll add a kick and I will be right back. Alright guys, so as you can see, I added quite a few things to this track. First off, I opened up another Nexus. I just grabbed the patch Hollywood Brass. I took those original chords we wrote out, just transposed them down an octave, and I'll just play it. Yeah, so I think it definitely adds some weight to it. It thickens up the chords quite a bit. You'll hear it in a second when I play it all together. But yeah, really like that sound. And in addition to that, I also opened up Omnisphere. I grabbed the Dance Floor Muscle Hit 1 patch. And this is more of like a synthetic pluck type of sound. Probably not going to use this a whole lot in the mix, but I think it definitely adds some character and some color to this chord progression we've been working on. So I'll play that for you. Alright, so that with the brass and the original chords we did earlier all together sound like this. Okay, cool. Moving on to the drums, I'm just using the FPC4 kick drum. If you watch a lot of my videos, you know I use this kick all the time. I think it's one of the best sounding kicks that come with FL Studio as a stock sample. Pretty simple kick pattern. Just to the end here, I have like a fill going on, and I have the clap on the 2 and the 4 that we went over earlier. I just layered that up with a snare. I have them both being sent to the same track on the mixer. I just have a verb on that, nothing crazy. And the crashes we went over. And in flex, I just have an 808 that's also just following the chords, but I have some slides here and there just to add a little groove to the track. And all together, why do I have contact open? All together, everything sounds like this. I think there should be a crash here and there. Okay, cool. So moving on, I made another pattern. This would probably be like the chorus section of the song, and only thing that really changes here is I have this little violin patch in M1 by Korg. That's just doing little licks. Not the most realistic sounding violin, but I think it works for this track. And I have a close hi-hat just here, filling each 2 steps until the very end where I'm playing it on every single quarter note, and that just adds to the fill. But I want to lower this velocity. And let's just throw this in the mixer just to add a touch of reverb to that as well. And for the violin, I just have a EQ on it, bumping it up around 3000 Hertz, and just compressing it a little bit, just so it punches through a little more. And so this whole section of the song sounds like this.